Master Shanghai just finished with Gen G prevailing over a mostly rookie roster of Team Heretics, making a deep run thanks to some new faces to the top of Valorant. So that got me thinking about if we just saw one of the greatest rookie debut performances during this Masters, as there are honestly a few candidates. So I looked back at every international event to see who really takes home the crown as the best debut ever, 11 major international events into the esport. So before I can really dive into the most likely players to have taken this title, I need to quickly define what a rookie is for this video. A rookie to me is a player who's playing in their first ever international event. This includes all champions, international masters, except the very first international masters in Reykjavik, because everyone would be considered a rookie, so sorry tens. You unfortunately don't count for this. I'm also including the Sao Paulo lock-in tournament at the start of last season, but spoiler, no rookies impressed in this event enough to be in the top rookie debuts that we're going to dive into in this video. So really, we have 10 masters and champions to look at, with so many talented rookies showing up. But I was able to narrow it down to 3 superstars that came out in their first major event in Tier 1 on fire, leading their teams to very deep runs. And one person that isn't in there is Demon1. I know that's shocking, but before you dislike this video, look back at his debut at Masters Tokyo. While EG was able to go on a miraculous run to get to the grand finals, Demon1 wasn't the star of the show for them. Boostio was a menace that event, more than even champions, being a fragger for the team while IGLing, putting him much more likely to take home this title, as he was a rookie also. But really, their run didn't really rely too heavily on just one player, as Jajima was also putting up great numbers as the Raze and controller role. So while Demon1 had a great run during his debut, compared to the 3 players I found, you will see why Demon1 had to be left off this list. So the weakest out of these 3 debuts comes from the second ever International Masters in Berlin, where El Diablo debuted with FNS and Envy, which would turn into Optic after the season. But right away when Ye touched the international stage, he was a superstar. And for all his recent haters that have been calling him just a Chamber 1 trick, this performance on Jet as a fast, twitchy entry player was better than any of his performances during the peak of the Chamber meta. But at the time, there were huge question marks concerning him going into his international debut, as he only rose to Tier 1 play a month prior, being picked up after impressing with Anbox, where Envy decided to take a chance on this head-hunting duelist in place of Mame, who was their secondary duelist behind Victor. But right away, Ye became their main duelist, as he dominated right when he joined the team on Jet, even when facing the first Masters winning Sentinels roster. He held his own, as they were so close to winning both maps, but even then they rallied thanks to FNS and Chet's leadership and won an impressive lower bracket run, with Ye picking up 31 first kills to only 15 first deaths in those 2 matches. That's the first kill in over a quarter of all the rounds he played, leading them to qualify for Masters Berlin, getting over the hump FNS was feeling early in Pro Valorant. While they finished in second in a close match against 100 Thieves, Ye didn't really falter, but either way now they would have to fight through the group stages, and really people had no idea how smoothly Ye would be able to convert his early regional play to an international stage, especially being so new to it all. But this is when one of the greatest rookie performances started. In their group stage opener, they were matched up against Brazil's runners-up Keedstar. While a lot of his team struggled to get rolling in the Masters, Ye didn't miss a step, as he picked up 29 kills, being a critical player in overtime to give his team a much needed victory to shake the nerves off and join Ye in his dominance, giving them a win in their first match, setting them up in the winners group stage match against Crew, who had one of the best Jets in the game in Nags. But Ye again didn't slow down a bit, as he went 9-1 in first kills to deaths in 2 maps, going plus 17, shutting down Crew no matter what side of the map they were playing on, putting Envy through into the playoffs without losing a single map. At this point, Ye was already putting up legendary numbers, with a 291.5 ACS, a 24% headshot rate, 19 first kills, all while going plus 31 so far. But throughout Valorant history, we have seen teams and players start off hot in the group stages, but peter out against the top teams in the playoffs. And the same thing definitely could happen to Ye and Envy, as they were now going to be facing their NA rivals and reigning Masters champions Sentinels. And it wasn't an easy fight at all, as the Sentinels team really didn't collapse until after this event. But in this first map, these 2 teams couldn't be separated, especially as playoffs were all going to be single elimination. A single mistake could spell the end of the run. With map 1 going all the way to overtime, Envy and Ye needed to yet again pull out something special to survive. That's when Ye showed off what made him so deadly, as in a critical second overtime, he pulled off a great B execute to give them the first couple of kills to move it to map point, where Crashies was able to get a 4K to break the mental of Sentinels, leading to Ye dominating on split, picking up a first kill on 40% of all the rounds to win 13-7 to eliminate the reigning champions and move on to the semi-finals, where they would face the team they couldn't get past in the challengers, 100 Thieves. And really here is where he had his best game in the entire tournament, with him picking up an event-high 31 kills to lead to a 13-5 win on Haven. And while he didn't completely replicate the first map, on Ascent, he continued to roll, picking up 7 op kills on their way to sweeping 100 Thieves to officially be crowned the best in North America, and heading into the grand finals, where Ye could perfectly cap off his rookie debut with a Masters win. But this is why I don't have him ranked as the greatest rookie in Valorant history. This is where he fumbled. So like many rookies after him, the stage was just too big, with too much pressure on his shoulders, as he wasn't able to be consistent enough to break through the opponent's lines, losing in overtime, which snowballed into 2 more maps that weren't as close. As while Ye gave it his all on Haven, picking up 4 first kills, they let the map slip from their grasps in the final few rounds, leading to Ye and the rest of the team losing their mental, being swept in a 9-13 loss, where Ye bottom fragged. And while the run he had throughout this entire Masters was both one of the most successful and statistically dominant by a rookie, it wasn't enough in the biggest moment, taking a small hit to his legendary run, because across that stage lifting the trophy was another legendary rookie run, which comes in as the second best debut ever, Gambit's Nats, who revolutionized the way people played the game, as he not only put up similar numbers to Ye, he did it only on support roles, as he exclusively played Viper and Cypher. Prior to Gambit steamrolling the competition at Masters Berlin, Nats and Gambit were able to make some noise regionally, but for qualifications for Masters Reykjavik, they stumbled just a match away from qualifying, leading Nats to have to wait to make his rookie debut later in the season, as he was one of the most anticipated rookies to be competing, as he didn't dominate on the duelist or initiator, but rather a role where you aren't really supposed to get much of the glory, being a lurk. But through his and his team's run in Berlin, he changed what everyone thought was possible thanks to his next level game sense that led to so many easy kills for him, as in their first match on LAN, they defeated Crazy Raccoons in the most lopsided match in Tier 1 history, with Gambit winning 13-1 on both maps, with Nats going 30-15. And things look to be going the same way against 100 Thieves in the winners match, after winning map 1 13-5, and leading map 2 11-3, but then 100 Thieves built an insane comeback, something they would do again later in the tournament against Ascend. This ultimately shook this inexperienced team, resulting in Nats having his worst game in the event, as he fell down to elimination. But even then, Nats played efficiently in that match, as he finished this loss still at an 80% cast, the highest in the match. But now they would have to fight to even get out of the group stages. And of course, this is when Nats showed why fans were so excited to see him play at such a high level, as in their rematch against a much better prepared Crazy Raccoons, Nats carried his team in a good few rounds, with him reading the opposing team perfectly, picking up 30 kills to 10 deaths in map 1, and an 81% cast on Icebox, where he was always a positive factor in the map, picking up 7 multi-kills as his flanking on Icebox was the difference maker, as they made it to the playoffs. And against Vision Strikers, a team who were also making their international debut after making so much noise in their own region, Nats was able to go 24-9 to take over the first map, as they went 13-2. They were able to win in 3 maps, with Nats on Viper and Cypher top fragging. And this is during the peak of how powerful duelists were, so for Gambit being able to add the most efficient Sentinel in the game, it just made them unstoppable, as they defeated G2 in the semifinals, with him dropping another 25 on a map to move on to the grand finals, where they'd be facing a Ye-led Envy team we just saw. And we know how that all ends, with Nats and Gambit sweeping Envy to lift the trophy. And while Chronicle was insane during this match, when looking at the most important moments, Nats was the difference maker on both the attacking and defending sides. And looking at his stats on this trophy run, they aren't as high as Ye, but even then he was so close behind, while also having a whopping 80% cast and 26% clutch rate, both a little higher than Ye. And capped that off with them winning so dominantly in the grand finals, with Nats only having one somewhat bad game being so consistent no matter the pressure. While he wasn't as flashy as the other rookies, he was one of the absolute best to do it in their first international event. But even with all that, he doesn't take home the title, as the best rookie ever is from someone that debuted very recently. Before I dive into the greatest rookie debut in Valorant history, I want to give a quick honorable mention to a debut that's so close to being in the top 3. That being aspas' debut during Masters Reykjavik in 2022, where they finished second against Optic. And while statistically he put on an insane performance to help them defeat Team Liquid, G2, and Optic the first time they played each other, in the grand finals, he struggled with Ye diffing him, which was one of the reasons why they lost 0-3, and since their run was only 4 games, having one of those be so bad, especially in the grand finals when it mattered most, it was clear compared to the other runs that aspas' run was just outside the top spots. But it's definitely one to remember, and really there's a bunch of rookie performances I'm not able to go through that were also insane, but just weren't the best of the best. So if you think I missed any major ones, put it down in the comments, along with your case for why they deserve the spot more than these 3 players. But there is one player you can't argue isn't at least a top 3 rookie debut, when looking at all the stats and the run he had compared to every other rookie debut. That being Team Heretics' Woot, who already looks like one of the best players in the world, leading his team to a 2nd place finish at Masters Shanghai, all within 3 months of turning 18. While he was EMEA's biggest prospect going into the season, he missed out on the kickoff as well as Masters Madrid, which saw Team Heretics come out of nowhere with so many impressive rookies to qualify for Madrid. While the team wasn't able to go on a deep run in Madrid, some fans called for this roster to continue for the rest of the season together, since they had such an improbable run and looked like a promising top team in EMEA already. But the fans that didn't call for that knew what Woot was capable of. As the moment he joined the team taking Patty Tech's spot in week 4, there was no turning back, as Woot in the 2nd map he ever played in Tier 1 put up 23 kills and only 12 deaths and a runaway victory against Team Liquid, all while playing the initiator role. Throughout the rest of Split 1, Woot was electric as he flexed onto any agent the team needed, as they won the remainder of their games, only faltering against Fnatic in a map 5 in the grand finals, where Experience won out that day. But going into Masters Shanghai, all eyes were on Woot and Team Heretics. But just a little bit before the event, it was announced that Miniboo would be sitting out the Masters due to burnout and schooling conflicts, resulting in Patty Tech once again having to join the team, leaving the duelist role open. That's when their flex playing rookie stepped up when the team needed him the most. Even though it was going to be his first time on the big stage, Woot would be their entry for Shanghai, a role he stated before isn't his most comfortable, so there were so many questions for this team going into the Swiss stage. But luckily they got a good draw and were faced up against the 3rd ranked Chinese team, Dragon Rangers, giving Woot a good warm-up on this role as he put up a 325 ACS with 17 first kills in only 36 rounds, showing against this weaker team that he wasn't just good, but he just might be built for greatness. But that's when G2 threw a wet blanket on the steady fire Woot and Heretics were building, as their solid and structurally sound game plan was just too hard for Woot and Heretics to overcome, as Woot was shut down by the other rookie duelist Icy, with G2 and Valen understanding how to throw off this young superstar, leading to a 2-1 loss that saw them convincingly handled on the final 2 maps. So it seemed like Woot's debut would be cut short in the Swiss stage, and while he looked like a great player, it seemed clear that Heretics without Miniboo on duelists would just fall flat in yet another Masters this year. But that's when the legend of Woot was born, as against a surging FPX team who was looking to make their mark in front of their home crowd. He had the single greatest performance by a rookie in an international event. First looking unstoppable on Sunset, going 27-9 to win the map 13-4. But in the deciding map of Icebox, Woot gained the most kills by a rookie in a single map ever, the 2nd most by any player in an international event at 37 kills, putting the team in his backpack to win in overtime to move it to playoffs. This is one of the many reasons why Woot's recent run at Masters Shanghai is the greatest ever by a rookie. But the other big reason is because of the run he and the team had in playoffs. I'm going to keep it pretty short since it's still so recent, so I don't need to jog y'all's memory too much. They were able to go on a pretty dominant run to the grand finals after falling down early in their rematch against G2, where Woot held his own in the first 2 maps, but on map 3 he had his worst map of the entire event, going 15-17. But through the 3 elimination matches they survived, Woot was a critical part of being the main reason why they were able to get redemption against G2 in the lower finals, going plus 17 with a crazy 40% headshot rate, leading to a grand finals against Gen G, where Woot could perfectly cap off his first run for a Masters trophy, and he even looked like he had the confidence to do it. But it wasn't meant to be, as he didn't have the same impact he had in the entire event, allowing Texture and Meteor to put on huge performances to capture the first trophy for the Pacific region. But while he was unable to live up to the big moment, he's still considered the greatest rookie debut due to how absolutely jaw-dropping the stats he put up were, all while not playing his best agents. They didn't bomb out at all, taking Gen G to the absolute brink, so close to victory, but ultimately, it does give a little room for a future rookie to take the title from him,